Hello YouTube, Slate Warrior here, and the topic of today is monster effects. And before I get to the actual discussion, I just want to ask you guys a quick question. Do you like it better when I leave my videos uncut like I plan to do with this one, or like I cut them like I did with some of my discussions in the past, the video that I put up yesterday, my one response to We Are Yu-Gi-Oh! I just want to know, does it bother you guys either way? Like, because for me, I don't really mind doing it one way or the other, and there's just some discussions that seem to fit with being uncut and some discussions that seem to fit with being cut because they're just a lot of separate points. But if you guys have a preference, definitely tell me in the comment section below. All right. So to begin with monster effects, we're going to be talking about how they dominate our game and how they are the most plus of any of the three card types. So you've got spells, traps, and monsters. All right. And the majority of monsters that are meta in the game right now provide a plus with their effect. And that's why I'm only talking about effect monsters. Normal monsters, they do nothing. You have to use spells and traps in conjunction with normal monsters that are designed to be used with those normal monsters to profit off of playing normal monsters in your deck, such as like Rescue Rabbit or like Silent Doom. So, a good example of an effect monster that gives you a plus right away is, I know this card is banned, but Stratos. A lot of people want it to come back, right? The problem with Stratos is that you can just use it over and over to get tons of pluses to your hand, and that may remind you of a card that's meta right now, like Infernity Archfiend, and that's true. Infernity Archfiend does gain you lots of pluses because every time it gets special summoned, it gets to add that Infernity card from your deck to your hand. Card D, you normal summon it, you tribute it, it becomes your end phase, but you get a plus. The Stellar Knight cards, pretty much all of them give you a plus. I know one of them special summons from the hand, and that is a +1 to the field. I know it's not a +1 overall, it's an even overall, but it is a +1 to some part of the game. I mean, a great example of a deck that just completely runs on monster effects is Mermails, which has been meta for way too long. And I guess that's a discussion for another day. But think about it. They have Teus, they have Dragoons, which I know is a 1. They have Pike, just to search. They have tons of cards that can get stuff. I mean, I guess when Dragoons does battle damage, it special summons from the deck. So that's another thing that Dragoons deserves to be at 1, in my opinion. But, I guess that's why they put it at 1. They don't do that much, honestly. I'm going to talk about that, a little bit later in the video. But so for Mermails, they revolve around monster effects, and their biggest downside is that they have to discard to special summon the big monsters like Megalo and Lead, which a lot of them don't like. You never want to draw Lead. You never special summon Lead from the hand. Teus, you also have to discard, but he's not as big of a monster. And the reason that this deck is so good is because even though it has to discard to summon the monsters, they have combined them with Atlanteans, which let you, stay plus when definitely discarding, which is always a minus. So when you want to summon your Teus and you discard, let's say, a heavy infantry, you pop a card, so that takes away the fact that you had to discard a card from your hand because you got rid of a card from your opponent's hand, and then you get to search with Teus, so that's a +1 overall because you summoned one card, it stayed on the field, you discarded one card, so that's a -1 to you, you popped one of your opponent's cards, that puts you even, and then you search, that's a +1. And then even if your opponent has to breakthrough skill, so then you're going even again, or no, then you're going, what would it be? You would be plus, if you got the search off, and to stop your opponent from going plus, they activate a card, which gets rid of another card in their field. So yeah, they'd be going -1. So that's another example. Like, I guess we can move this on to like traps. All right. So let's say that your opponent wanted to use a trap like breakthrough skill. That's a minus, and even though it can stop your opponent from plussing, it's still a minus because let's say your opponent was going to use an effect that would search, like I was just saying, and you use breakthrough skill or effect veiler, then you're getting rid of a card instead of having them plus. So you're still going minus overall in the case because they still got their summon off. So they used one card that were going to plus, but instead of them plussing, you minus without them doing anything to make you minus. So that's a plus for them. Like, traps do that a lot. And at most, traps, like most of the time, will just 1 for 1. So you've got like Deep Prison, Bottomless, Solemn Warning, which is a great trap. Like, I'm not saying Solemn Warning isn't a good card, but monster effects are definitely much stronger in the long run than Solemn Warning is in some cases because Solemn Warning, yes, can stop an entire play. And I really shouldn't be, like, I'm not trying to talk down on Solemn Warning. I'm just trying to compare it to how Solemn Warning really only gets rid of one card and how monster effects can add cards to your hand, add cards to the field, send cards to your graveyard if you need them, like Armageddon Knight. I'd consider that a plus because what you're sending with Armageddon Knight is something that you want in the graveyard, plus your deck thinning. That's why Armageddon Knight's at 1 in Japan. Shit alls, because, it gave them their effects. So I guess, yeah, this can definitely be an OTG discussion too. So Armageddon Knight sends a Shaddoll card from your deck to the graveyard. Let's say it's just the one that pops a spell trap. So that there, you're going plus because all you did was normal summon a monster. It's still in the field. So you did one thing to get rid of a card. So you're going +1. And there aren't that many, like, think about it. I'd like you guys to give me examples in the comments of traps that give you pluses. Like, I can think of Mirror Force, Torrential Tribute. Mirror Force is slow, though. Torrential Tribute's awesome. Like, I love Torrential Tribute. It's a great trap. But, that's why it's like a staple. The best traps in the game are the ones that give you those pluses. And I know Mirror Force isn't a staple because it's slow, but Deep Prison is, and that's a 1-for-1. And it doesn't, like, it banishes. That's why it's supposedly better than Mirror Force, because even though Mirror Force does give you big pluses, there are a lot of monster effects. There's the keyword there, monster effects, that prevent cards from being destroyed. So, just that's another example of how a card that would normally be a plus, that is a trap, Mirror Force, is just taken out of existence by the fact that a lot of monsters protect themselves these days, and that's a monster effect. And I'm not upset. Like, this is not like a video of me being mad that monster effects are so good. I understand that it's best for Konami when they're releasing an archetype to keep decks fast because they have to outpace the decks that are good right now. So I understand why monster effects are good, because they're the fast and they're the most plus. And I'm just trying to explain to you guys, how monster effects are completely dominating the game right now. And any deck that's competing is running mostly off of monster effects. Now you might think, oh, well, Artifact Sanctum, isn't that a plus? And yes, but it's mostly a plus because it summons a monster from the deck, and then you get the plus off of the effect monster's effect. So even though I guess if you MST Artifact Sanctum, it has an effect there, but let's just say you activated Artifact Sanctum, because we're talking about when you activate the spells and traps. Then you activate the Artifact Sanctum, okay? So you're using one card to get one card out of your deck, and then you go plus from the monster effect. So it's the actual Sanctum. When you activate the Artifact Sanctum, you're not going plus off of Sanctum, you're going plus off of Moraltalk. I guess I should have explained that, yes. When I'm talking about Sanctum, I'm automatically associating that with Moraltalk. Moraltalk is an effect monster that gives you a plus, because on summon, you have to use no cards with Moraltalk. On summon, it will pop a card. And just to compare that to some of, like, staple spells in the game, alright, there aren't that many anymore, because, Reborn was an amazing 1-for-1, but it's banned now. Heavy Storm was a plus, completely broken, it will never come back. Don't tell me it's coming back. It's never coming back. Dark Hole is in the game right now. That's okay, because like I'm saying, some monsters have the effect to protect themselves now. So, Dark Hole is fine at 1, and it's not going to go up. Now that I think about it, like, I know I talked at the end of my Dark Hole discussion that it's not going to go to 2, even though I had the spark, because I told you why. Because monsters can protect themselves, and you can combine Dark Hole with monsters that protect themselves. If Dark Hole becomes more than a staple at 1, it'll become a combo card. So Dark Hole is one of those few spells that is still staple in the game that is a plus. Book of Moon, it's a minus. Tenki is like an empty plus, because I know you're getting 100 attack, but I'd have to say that Tenki definitely doesn't count as a plus, it counts as going even. And if we're going to use Tenki, we might as well use Rhoda, that's going even. Emergency Call, any of the search cards that, don't require like a discard or anything, they're even. Like any of the just 1-for-1 simple search cards, that's exactly what they are. They're 1-for-1s, they're not plus. So I can't really think of any more, spells that make you go super plus. So definitely tell me in the comments what you think about spells and traps in the game right now, and if there are any that I mentioned that are like meta that help you go plus. And I know monster effects, you can give me tons of examples of monster effects that go plus, but besides the ones that I mentioned, can you tell me any spells or traps that let you go plus? I mean, I guess Blackhorn, because they use 2 cards to make 1 card, and then you negate the summon and destroy it. So there's another one, Blackhorn. Compulse does the same thing if you're using it on extra deck monster, because they use 2 cards to make 1 card, and then you use your 1 card. But just think about it. What if it's like, I guess this wouldn't work for Blackhorn, but for Compulse, what if it's Tiger King? You get that search, so that, if you compulse a Tiger King back, they're still getting that search. So you're going even though you activated a trap that's supposed to be a plus when used on an extra deck monster. So, alright, again, tell me in the comments if there are any spells or traps that you can think of that let you go plus, like, just easily, right away. Like Dark Hole, Mirror Force, Torrential Tribute. Not the ones I mentioned, though. And then tell me what you think about monster effects dominating the game, because it's true. Nobody can deny it anymore. Monster effects completely run the game. Cleefort and Stellar Knights, just the new decks that are coming out, the new cards, their effects, their effect monster run, and you can't deny that. They do have some spells and traps, but the effect monsters are what people are playing, not the spells and traps. So thanks for watching. Like this video if you enjoyed it. Favorite if you liked it that much. Subscribe for more Yu-Gi-Oh videos. And share this with your Yu-Gi friends. And I will see you later, YouTube.